Welcome to week 3 of That Canadian NFL Show. 3 coaches were fined $100,000 each for not wearing masks on the sidelines in week 2. The NFL forever worried about optics and not logic. Think that if they wear masks on TV, it won't look bad, even though they are not wearing them at practice or probably in the locker room and they're with all the same people. I thought for sure one of them would come out dressed as the bubble boy to maybe prove a point. Not quite as extreme, but Gruden did show up wearing his wife's underwear. Also in the previous week, Belichick did a news conference in prep for their game against Las Vegas on Sunday. Belichick showed up on camera after going on a 3-day bender after the loss on Sunday. Then he went to find his favorite comfort sweater from his closet before the interview. This man lives in a $4.5 million house in Nantucket. Could you imagine rummaging through your closets in a $4.5 million estate to find this sweater to go on TV with? Is it hanging in a closet, or does he have to kick his dog off the bed it was on? To pull off his sheer confidence and don't give a shit attitude, I actually think Belichick is the man from Nantucket. Good for you, Bill. The big story of the week was Tyrod Taylor. He missed his last Sunday's game against the Chiefs due to a mysterious upper body injury right before the game. Later in the week, it was discovered that the team doctor accidentally punctured his lung while giving him a pain reliever injection in his ribs. We were lucky enough to get some footage from inside the medic room in the team's facility.
Hey Tyrod, come on in. Just have a seat up here. I know the ribs are bothering you. So yeah, we're gonna lift up your shirt, okay? And I'm just gonna give you a little local anesthetic right there. You'll be fine for game time. Done this 1,000 times. Absolutely nothing to worry about. You ready? Okay. Okay, no, everything's good. Yeah, that went well. Okay, yeah, no, take a deep breath. No, deeper breath. Everything's good. Okay. No, it's all good. No, we'll be fine. We got it. Oh, fuck.
We managed to track the doctor down to try to get a comment. There are actually some people out there who are saying this is a giant conspiracy. Since the NFL had its most black quarterback starters in history, it was just a way for them to get a white QB in place. Stay off Twitter. It makes about as much sense as this being the case. I hope that was funny because I ruined a perfectly good pillowcase for that bit. Moving into this weekend's football, the Thursday night NFL matchup had the lowest ratings for Thursday night football in 4 years. If Twitter was to be believed, it's all these darn political protests and people can't handle being reminded that the real world happens for 5 minutes of their 4 hours of sports. It apparently has nothing to do with playing between nights Stanley Cup playoffs, a Lakers playoff game in a series that was heating up, 11 MLB games as they start to vie for playoff positions. People are just going to overdose on sports. There's also a pandemic that continues to rage on and an American election on the go, so the news cycle is getting a lot more attention than it ever has. Plus, have you guys seen Cobra Kai on Netflix? Just good fun. Then, maybe even worse, it has something to do with the 2 terrible teams who nobody really cares about. It's funny that the people who hate football getting political turn it political. The point is, stay off of Twitter. As a Minshew supporter, I was hoping for a better game, but instead, Ryan Fitzpatrick easily handles the Jaguars once again. Minshew mania may already be over, but I have a feeling he may be in for a Ryan Fitzpatrick type of career. It's fitting he loses him to start it off. And still, 5.3 million people tuned in to watch that garbage, me and 6 friends included. I think football will be fine. Last week, I said the Giants never needed to be talked about again. But this week, they actually did something worth talking about. One, they got beat by the San Francisco B squad. Still not surprising. But the final score was 36-9, which is actually the first time any NFL game has ever ended in that score. They made history. Neat. Moving on, the Browns have a winning record for the first time since 2014. I know it's only 2-1, but you take small wins when you get them every 6 years. Just like the football team they played against. Even though they suffered their second straight loss, they are still tops in the NFC East. Looking sharp at the top, football team. And then the Falcons. They have blown it more than Sasha Grey at this point. They had a solid lead to the point where Trubisky got benched, but Foles made the comeback happen with 3 TDs in the 4th quarter. A different bird, but this video is still crazy relevant.
The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
So now Dan Quinn is another coach in trouble, and 2020 is looking like a potential French Revolution for coaches. Then when you talk about some games, you talk about who wanted it more. In the case of the Eagles and the Bengals, neither team wanted it at all. OT was an embarrassing showing, as neither team would take a chance, afraid to lose more than wanting to win. They say ties are like kissing your sister. In football, I think it's worse. It's like kissing your dad. Gross. Seriously though, two winless teams play each other and somehow both come out winless? Gross. I just feel bad for Joe Burrow. He's clearly showing some amazing skill, but he still plays for the Bengals. Reminds me of someone. Burrow took some nasty hits this week too, including this one.
It's not helmet to helmet, but in the head and neck area. Oh boy.
He is the most sacked QB in the league at the moment. The Bengals are setting him up for an Andrew Luck exit from football. The story from the Texans-Steelers game was the Watt brothers. Three brothers playing in the NFL against each other. TJ Watt, JJ Watt, and Derek? I had to read up on Derek and actually just feel bad for him. He has made an accomplishment that most people can only dream of, making it to the NFL. But two bigger Pro Bowler brothers, they even make him look small in this picture together. Plus, his parents didn't even use the naming scheme for him. At least he has a higher chance at a Super Bowl than JJ. The Steelers easily handled the Texans, leaving them as a surprising 0-3 team. Speaking of surprising 0-3 teams, the Vikings lost a tight race against the Titans. The Titans are undefeated this year and have won their 3 games by a total of 6 points. So not even a full score. Unless, of course, Gostkowski was kicking the extra point. Having said that, Gostkowski kicks have won every one of those 3 games, and this Sunday he kicked a record 6 field goals. He had the 10th highest fantasy score of the week as a kicker. The Titans definitely have the weirdest start to the season, but their first 3 games were against teams that are now a combined 1-8. I wouldn't expect this train to keep on moving. Now my favorite team to talk about, the Jets. For fantasy lovers out there, the Colts defense was actually the 9th highest scorer of the week in fantasy. 2 touchdowns, a safety, 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, and only 7 points allowed. Wow, and congrats to this guy for taking the best picture of the bunch. This game started with Darnold throwing a pick 6, first play of the game. Devastating. But the Jets showed some life when they rallied their next possession into a touchdown and a tie game. Sadly, that was the last time they scored points in the game. Colts scored 29 unanswered to win 36-7, which is basically the exact opposite of how the Falcons do it. I'm not sure which one is more disappointing to watch. Since I'm unemployed and there's soon to be an opening, I've sent my resume to the owner of the Jets, Woody Johnson, otherwise known as Gene Hackman in the movie Enemy of the State. I'm hoping for a callback before the weekend so I can have a crack at the Broncos and the only potential win of 2020 on Thursday. The Buccaneers are a major storyline all year, but in reality, this week they played the Broncos, so it's pretty quiet. The best thing to come out of this game was the fact that they put all the South Park characters in the stands with cardboard cutouts. Obviously, South Park is a local favorite and why they use them, but they're probably still pissed at The Simpsons for this, which stands more true today than it did when it aired in 1996.
Oh, the Denver Broncos!
I think owning the Denver Broncos is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, explain to me why it isn't.
You just don't understand football, Marge.
Another crazy finish for the Cowboys this week. These 2 teams are some of the most hated in the league for no other reason than that they're the Cowboys and the Seahawks. I didn't think I cared who won or lost this game, and then it got going and no, I want the Cowboys to lose. They're the Toronto Maple Leafs of the NFL, and I hate them for it. They both steal their logos from the flag, try to make their team the team of the country. They both have annoying fans, make too much money and are on TV too much for teams that are terrible. Screw them both. So Dak Prescott gave it his best shot, but was no match for Russell Wilson on the warpath. The Cowboys made it close, but in reality, they should have been down another touchdown if Metcalf could get it into the end zone.
Metcalf is there, and it's knocked out of the back of the end zone.
This happens more often than one would think, and not just in football. This guy called Aussie Man does compilations on YouTube, and he has a skill. Worth watching his full videos, but just to give you a taste.
Here's a nice little putt. Why not point your club like it's a shotgun to celebrate? Oh, shit idea, shit idea. I am definitely all for audience engagement, but don't fucking do it when there's a fella with a determined face chasing you. Determined faces always win. That is sensational. He celebrates right on time just to rub it in.
Both the Sunday and Monday night games were offensive showings. Mahomes and Rodgers showing the league what it takes to win, make money, and be entertaining. The Packers count on their offense to win, as their defense isn't quite up to par yet. Kamara made them look silly on a few plays.
Kamara slowed down right here for him just a little, but now watch him chugging. He's got it done.
But scoring 37 points a game tends to help get the W regardless. Unless you're the Falcons. The hard count in empty stadiums is also a key weapon for Rodgers. It's actually crazy that this works so well. Must be embarrassing for the guy who jumps too early. Get your shit together. The Chiefs were in control their entire game. Would have probably been more out of reach if Duvernay didn't return a kickoff for touchdown. The first kick return of the season.
Devin Duvernay had a pretty good return the last time. This time from the 10. Should give the Ravens excellent starting field position down the sideline. Butker couldn't get him. All the way, Devin Duvernay for the touchdown.
Both of those teams are now in the group of 7 that are 3-0 to start the season, with 8 teams without a win. It's almost like there's a growing disparity between teams, and I worry for Occupy Lambeau. This week in fantasy, I got the second highest score of the week. It's a shame that I had to play Jenny or Ovalson, who wins high score of the week for the second straight week. Sean Clark is most improved player, but still finds himself at the basement as low score of the week. Grega drops his game to Mike Lamborn, and therefore Jordan is our last undefeated team in the league. But this week, he faces Mike himself. Next NFL game up on the schedule for Thursday Night Football, Broncos at the Jets. Safe to say, viewership will be down again this week. A new low record. Sunday night sees the beat-up 49ers at the down-and-out Eagles, and the choke artist Falcons at Green Bay on Monday Night Football. Key matchups all around. And now hockey is over, and baseball playoffs don't start till Monday. Damn. Enjoy the weekend.